Hi there, and welcome to this week's live session where we're going to talk about how willpower can help you to actually raise your energy levels and how it can serve you to find back to deep, rock solid sleep again. So, if you are struggling at the moment, you know there are things that you would like to do and you know they would serve you well in future, and you're kind of afraid to fall off the cliff because you think or might believe that willpower is something that you are not really practicing too good at the moment, then this one will really help you to get there, to use willpower to get back to those high energy levels or anything else you want to consider doing, and will serve you very well. So maybe we can start off this little live session if you drop me kind of a comment where you would see your willpower from kind of a strength, 0 being the lowest willpower that you know, and 5 will be the highest willpower. So where would you say are you at the moment? Is it a 0? Is it a 3, a 4? Or are you super strong when it comes to your willpower and say I'm a 5? When I think I'm going to do something, I'm going to do that and I'm going to perform and I'm going to have no problem whatsoever. So just drop that into the comments where you're standing right now. Are you a 0, a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a 5? And so basically, most people that think that they have a weak willpower are just using willpower the wrong way. It's just a broad misconception. We think that willpower is going to get us from A to B, right? And that is simply not true. Willpower is something like an engine starter. So if you want to change something for the better, let's say you want to get your energy levels high, and there are a couple of things that you know would serve you well, then you need willpower to get started, for the initial start, to kick off, to do the thing. And you might also need willpower to light up that engine on your journey. So that's part number one. So you really want to understand this. And then there are a couple of tricks that you just want to use willpower in the right way. Because if we don't do that, it's kind of just going to be harder down the road. So I will say, if we change, and that's what we're talking about when we're talking about willpower, right? We want to go from A to B. So we're moving out of our comfort zone. And the comfort zone is not something that is in particular always good for us. It's just what we used to do, right? So if we're moving out of these zones, we need to go walk through a wall. And if we use sheer willpower to walk through that wall, it's just going to hurt us because we're just going to push against that wall, and that's not good for us. So we want to look for the doors, right? We want to have a look at the left and the right, find the doors, open the doors, and sometimes we need a key. So the things that we are the things that we essentially want to know is how do I get these keys? And basically one trick to use willpower is, first off, to imagine the thing that you want to do. So let's say, we're going to take an easy example that will raise our energies. We want to get up a couple of minutes earlier. And that's kind of easy. We can all do that. We can all set our alarm a couple of minutes earlier, and we can take that time that we win to plan our day. As simple as that, or to tap into gratitude, something very easy. So what we want to do next is to think about that and just see if that feels right for us. As simple as that. We just don't want to copy things. So you don't want to copy this because I give this out as an example. You want to think about if this really feels good for you. That's the very first thing. And that's the very first mistake that many people do. They read something in a magazine, in a book, see something on TV, the internet, and then they just copy it. And they fail because it's not a good fit. So the first thing is just to see if it feels right and if the objective seems realistic. So you can drop me into the comments how often you kind of failed in the last couple of weeks to do something that you wanted to do, right? And we all fail at times. But the question would be, the thing that you failed, did you think about that in advance and did you tap into the feeling if this was a good fit for you? Because if not, we don't want to waste our time with stuff that's not good for us. 1,000 people can tell you 1,000 things which should or could be good for you, but you have to tap on the feeling and feel if it feels right for you. So if you did that, the next step that you want to take when we use willpower and you say, okay, I'm going to do that, is that you never ever want to negotiate. Once you say, I'm going to do something, you ran through the process in your mind, you're just going to execute on it. So, as an example, I can tell you I'm doing the cold shower challenge, 150 days in now. When I stand, first off, I have a warm shower. And I know after one song, I'm going to flip the switch and let that shower get cold. So what I never do is to negotiate with myself. If I enter the shower, the warm shower, and I say I'm going to do this, that's my commitment. I'm not going to start to have a discussion under the warm shower if I'm going to tap into the cold water afterwards. I'm just going to do it, right? So if you start to negotiate, and that's something that our brains are really great in, starting to negotiate with us, just shut off. Never, 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 ever negotiate with yourself. Shut that conversation down and take action. And there's a very simple exercise that you can do here. If you notice that inner chat that's trying to talk you out, just first off, take action. So in my case, I could just flip the tap to the cold right away and not even have the 4 minutes warm shower. It's going to be a 2-minute whenever that thought arises. Or you just count down from 5 to 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then take action. There seems to be something about the countdown that prevents our brain from continuing those little negotiation talks. So it's a powerful exercise, and that's a thing that you can do very easily. Just to tell you how powerful this is, years ago they had a study, you might be aware of this. It's the Marshmallow Study. So what they did, and it's super funny, you probably can find that under Google, is they gave kids marshmallows. And then they told them, if you eat that marshmallow right now, that's okay. But if you keep that marshmallow for 5 minutes, something like that, and you don't eat it, then you're going to get a second marshmallow as a reward, right? So then after that, the grown-up left the room and left those kids alone. And guess what? You saw the kids, in that inner fight, they started to negotiate, and most of the kids started to eat the marshmallow. So the short-term reward was higher valued than the long-term reward, the 2 marshmallows if they waited. But the kids and that was super fascinating. The kids that actually waited those 5 minutes got the second marshmallow, and not a first super exciting side note, those were all the kids that were far more successful in later lives. So they had a good strategy. But what they had was a strategy. Guess what? They didn't have more willpower than the others. They weren't smarter. They weren't whatever. They had a different strategy. What these kids did, they shut off their inner negotiation. They just turned around and started to play with something else. As simple as that. So that's a thing that you want to do too. If you get the feeling that you're starting to negotiate, you're starting to talk yourself out of something that you know will serve your energy levels, will serve your sleep, then just turn to something else and do something else. And that's it. Never negotiate with yourself. It's just a strategy. It's nothing to do with strong willpower, weak willpower. It's just a different strategy. And I want you to take this strategy, implement that into your life. And with that, I'm sure that you will be able to implement so many things that will serve you well in the long haul, and do that with ease even. Because in the moment you think about something else, you're not kind of eating up your own energy. And the last tip I've got for you, if you're still up for a tip, just let me know. Give me a like or anything if you're up for another tip. I would, have 1 or 2 minutes left to share that with you. The last tip would be to give yourself a short-term reward. That can be really helpful. Kind of following the marshmallow example, what made it really hard was that the long-term reward, the pain to get to the long-term reward was just too big. So if this is the case, and there are scenarios out there that this can be the case, then give yourself a short-term reward before the long-term reward, which is your energy, your well-being, your health, your better relationships before that comes. You can always say, okay, if I follow through this time, I'm going to reward myself with X. This could be whatever. This could be taking a little bit of time, drinking a cup of coffee, giving a friend a call. Do anything that is pleasurable for you. Eat a piece of chocolate, whatever serves you well. And that's going to do the job to make it easier to use your willpower, because in the end, using willpower smartly is going to get you to your goals. And if you use it in the wrong way, you're going to fail. And if you don't fail, you're going to break down the car, because an engine is not made for, lighten it up all the time. It's made for lighten it up every once in a while. And after that, you need your fuel, your core motivation. I'm going to show you something right now. This is kind of the Sleeptrust sleep map that I use to walk all my clients back to those high energy levels and superb sleep. And the willpower is the first part of out of the mindset, right, block. We have to get our mindset right, but it's not everything. Sheer willpower will not get you from A to B. It's good and we need it to get started, but we also need support and we need fuel, which is the core motivation to be set up for success. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to walk through all of these steps with you. So if you follow me here, you're going to get all the information you need to improve your life, improve your sleep quality as a foundation for a superb and energized sleep. And that's what I wish for you. I hope you tune in. And oh, by the way, don't forget to check out, where is it? Yeah, check out sleeptrust.eu, because there you will find not only the show note to this week's episode of the Sleeptrust podcast, but also the podcast. And this week's podcast about willpower is, I think, a really good one to get you started into the process. And as said, it's step number 1 out of a proven 9-step system that will bring you from maybe very low energy levels, maybe low energy levels, maybe okay energy levels, up to higher energy levels and superb deep resting sleep. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye and wishing you a lovely Sunday and of course a superb sleep. Bye.